Live. Okay, we're live on the
And we're
broadcast.
live.
We're live on the pre-live broadcast.
I laughed that I do fitness consulting for somebody or fitness. No, they do not want my fitness consulting, social media consulting. And so we were on the call yesterday and I kept using behind the scenes. So I said, I don't know, you don't want to call it a blog. Maybe you call it behind the scenes. And then I had to keep saying, but that's what we use. So
right.
Like, don't use it.
It works for us. It works for us.
I just laughed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, what are we doing on Instagram? By the way, I fell asleep at 9 o'clock last night, which is for me unheard of because I'm usually up till at least 11.
Was it like on the couch or in bed?
No, it was okay. So I started my day, of course, at 5 and going to the gym, come back, kids, school, whatever, breakfast, work all day, like feverishly, like barely can leave from but I got so much accomplished. I felt great. And then I took the kids back to the gym because they have their kids class in the afternoon. And so
that's right.
I worked on things I'm working on pull-ups as usual and working on ab work and stuff. And then we go to kids night because Tuesday's kids night. So then we go kids night at Chick-fil-A and I get my salad and we do the whole like playing at the gym and my friends come with us now. So this is like a Tuesday tradition, which I really love. And then we get home and baths. So that's baths. And then Evan, with his cute face I can't say no to, goes, can I watch one more show before bed?
Don't you love the show, the word show?
I love the show. He says show and carriage. Could we take the carriage to school? And I'm like, sure, which means stroller, but we call it a carriage. I don't know why, but that's what we call it. So we put Backyardigans on, which I'm so excited he's into because I love the Backyardigans.
Oh my gosh.
And we laid on my bed and we watched Backyardigans. And before it was over, I was like, my eyes were I was like conking out. So I picked him up, I brought him to bed, I kissed him, and I went right back to the bed. I didn't even go downstairs. I didn't tell Bill I was going to sleep. I didn't say a word. Ryan was in the bath. I just fell asleep.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Which is probably why I thought it was Thursday, because I literally felt like I slept an entire day.
It was like Rip Van Winkle, who I always call Rumpelstiltskin, but I think it's Rip Van Winkle.
I felt like I slept. I was like, so I woke up at 4:30. And that was 8 hours exactly. And I thought, holy crap, I haven't gotten 8 hours in years. I'm like, I need to do that more often.
Isn't that interesting? I do wonder, like we've talked so much about sleep, how much would we, America, sleep if we had no intrusions? I wonder what my natural sleep would be. Would it be 8 hours like they say? I have no idea.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, because I think I'm between 7 and 8 naturally if I go to bed. I feel like whatever time I fall asleep, I still wake up between 4:30 and 5:30 anyway, pretty naturally. So like if I go to bed earlier, I sleep longer.
Yeah.
I don't think I would wake up before 5, like 4:35 anyway, even if I went to bed at like 7.
And is that because we're overtired? Like I think about my child who can go to bed at 4 p.m. or 11 o'clock at night and she's up at 5:30.
Well, I have read like sometimes they say you can't make up sleep. Like once it's gone.
Right.
So I never bought that. Like my mom used to always say, you can't make up sleep. But then I do feel like I remember I did basic training because I was in the reserves in college. And I slept after I came home for like 3 days straight.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Through this I'm definitely making up
sleep. Because your body is tired. I know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, that was a whole we can edit that, put that on the show.
Or do we put that on there and say, oh, if you don't usually watch the YouTube, join us in our message.
Join us for our sleep conversation. And Ronnie confesses her 8-hour night. All right. Okay, so I'll bring us in today. It's my turn, right?
Perfect.
And I guess I could bring up fit blogging conference planning as a pre-chat before we get into which actually we could probably feed that into your quote, because I think one of the things
that's how you view it.
And one of the things that I've always dealt with fit blogging is people feeling excluded. And I have this whole post on Fit Blogging blog about how what you project is what you bring back, which is exactly the same. So if you go to the conference thinking you don't belong, then you don't belong. But if you come to the conference thinking this is my people, then you generally fit right in. So we can kind of maybe weave that in there. I don't know.
I love that weird article I put on the Facebook page for that reason.
Yes.
Oh, you're weird too? You are my people. No, that's perfect. And I wicked the child's 9.5 birthday party this weekend. So
so wait, she's a December baby?
She's November 30th, so it's always Thanksgiving, so we don't do a party then. And so I was like, oh, we'll do this. But so I can start with that, then you can go to
That would
FitBlog,
be
and then
great.
we'll go into the image. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, ready?
I am
This
ready.
is going to be so energizing. I need to talk to you. All right.
Like a floating head.
I know. I'm like, I don't put I'm wearing my thinner glasses, which I dug out because I couldn't find my other glasses and I can't work without them. So I thought maybe I'll wear these. And
So it doesn't press in your head.
yes, and I have no pain. This is great. Okay. All right. Welcome to the Wick Wick podcast, episode 20. 20?
Yep, episode 20.
I thought maybe I would have to edit that out because I was wrong.
No, episode 20. I almost confused myself because I had a brainstorm foreshadowing for episode 21. So it's like, wait, is it 21 or 20? But we're only at episode 20.
I still say we need to decide exactly how many episodes are in season 1 because I have a feeling we're just going to go to 99 and then.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. You're totally right.
Because I'm like one of those crazy ex-programmer media types that likes to number things. So I must have some kind of numbering system when I do stuff. That's why I always
do 50.
We could do 50 or
50. It's got to be a party.
Oh, yeah. I think we'll make 50. I feel like 20 went by pretty fast.
I know. Me too. Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking of numbers, this weekend was my daughter has a November birthday. It's around Thanksgiving. So I let her have a half birthday party this weekend, which seemed like a really good idea at the time. She brought it up. She's super ballsy. I've got to say I love kids because I still feel like we're kind of new.
So wait, it was her idea. She's like, I want a party for my 9.5 birthday.
And we never do birthday parties. I don't think we've ever done one, but it's all, oh, look, my parents are here. Your cousins are here. Let's all go out to dinner for your birthday because everyone's always gone for Thanksgiving. So she decides, she's so ballsy. And it was one of those moments that you and I talk about. Okay, you want to have this party? You're inviting all these girls. If nobody comes because you're the new kid, I can't protect you from that. You want to make yourself vulnerable? Go ahead. So she has this idea and we buy the invitations. And of course, I assume, I don't know why, I guess because I don't know if I got an invitation for a sleepover party from someone I didn't know if I would let her go. Right. So of course I encourage her to over invite because I'm thinking like 2 people will come, we'll invite 10.
You think you're only have a 20% response rate? Yeah,
what is it? Obviously, I don't have an email newsletter. So everybody comes and I still think, or everybody says yes, it'll be fine because it's always 8,000 degrees in Austin, always sunny. We'll swim. They'll all be outside. And then, of course, it rained for 30 days straight.
Now you're locked in your living room.
Pouring. Yes. And so I had that moment of they're all coming. And part of me didn't care. It's like I can do anything for a finite period of time. Set drop off, set pick up in the morning. Even if I never get a moment of silence through these 18 hours, I'll be fine. It's finite. It's like torture, but it'll be over soon.
Right.
What do I do? And it was that Wick that had nothing to do with fitness or healthy living. They're here. It is now pouring, and they would swim in the rain, and then it began lightning. So I am like, oh crap, what do you do? We did t-shirts. I always have a bunch of the white t-shirts in the packages. I will never not do this. Yes. And had the fabric markers, but it was total Wick the party. I had no plans for it being inside.
That's funny.
Yes.
Well, and 9 and 10-year-olds they're actually fairly easy to entertain still. I think if you had 10, 13-year-olds, then you would have had a lot of eye rolling, like, I don't know what to do.
Yes.
But I think 10 is still they're very, I don't know, into the crafts and the doing stuff. And
I think we forget how kind of babyish they are. Like,
yes.
She's 9.5 and some of the friends were 8. But I looked at my husband and I was like, uh-oh. And then I thought, okay, Wick the party. What do I have? So it was fun. And it was an adventure.
That's cool.
So well, that was my weekend.
Well, and I'm in planning mode myself for the gigantic party that we will call FitBlogging.
Oh, I forgot about that. You're right.
Oh, well, yes.
I'm not responsible for FitBlogging.
Okay, well,
not seem hard.
The double-digit birthday for Ryan comes 2 weeks before 10 days actually before FitBlogging. So
oh wow.
Yeah. So what we're doing I am either a horrible mommy or the best mommy on the planet. I can't decide. It depends on who you ask, I guess. I'm not a big party person when it comes to like what I would call traditional kids parties, like the theme and No.
Oh, me either.
And the going to, like, I think I did a bouncy house like once, and we did like laser tag once, and so going to the place, and which is on one hand they're
It
fabulous.
seems easier
You
because
pay
you
a
just
couple
leave it there.
$100, right? And you have
Yes.
no mess and no worry, and it's like you said, finite time. The kids have something to do. Nothing's in your control, nor
Yes.
So on that hand, I kind of see their appeal, but I don't want to spend that much money on birthday parties.
No, and it was great when they were really little.
Yes, and when you invite the whole class. But once he kind of turned, I don't know, maybe first grade, I said, that's it, we're done. Pick out your best friends, have them come over for a sleepover.
How
and
many?
Talk to their mom.
What is the
So-
rule? Because everybody says, oh, it's the age -9 or whatever
No,
that
I have no idea. There's a rule. I didn't know there was a rule. I think the most we've had was last year. We had 4. So with him, it's 5. So it's fairly
Yes.
manageable. And we are lucky. I have a basement that is finished, and it's.
Yes.
I'll say this: it's finished but not furnished. So it's basically just a big empty room with carpet in it.
So that's not where my theater is. It's not.
No, no. There's a room that's furnished, which is the theater, and then if you don't go in that room, the rest is just old furniture thrown in corners and a train table and toys scattered all over the floor.
Perfect though for that age.
Exactly, for that age. So we let them camp out in the basement. So they all go down. Like usually, we put a movie on in the theater. If it's still like if it's hot out, we'll do a water gun fight or we'll do a Nerf gun fight. And then they basically get their sleep. They bring their sleeping bags. They go in the basement and they do whatever it is 9-year-old.
Do they sleep?
do.
These girls did not sleep, which surprised me.
No,
And
they
were
don't.
5 ready to go in the pool.
The last sleepover Ryan attended, he did not sleep at all. And he was a zombie the next day. When they're here, they usually sleep. They fall asleep probably around midnight, 1-ish, late. But I don't, it's one night, it's a party. I let them go.
And do they sleep in? I was shocked. I thought my daughter would wake them at 5:30, but they were all up downstairs demanding food and swimming.
They seem to, there is definitely one wakes up and then I think they just wake each other up. I think just by nature of, they remember where they are or something. And then it wakes them up, Yeah. So we're doing that again. That is happening the weekend before FitBlogging.
Oh my gosh. Now, what is FitBlogging? For those who may not know.
For those that don't know, FitBlogging is a conference that I've been planning. This is our 6th year, which literally blows my mind. I can't fathom it because in 2009, I think I came to you. You were one of the bloggers I came to, and I said, I just came back from Blistum, which was a mom-centric conference in Nashville.
Now no longer.
Now no longer exists. And I went to blog her that year for the first time. And I said, these are amazing. I love blogging conferences because it was the first time in my life I didn't feel like weird for being a blogger because you don't know any other blog. It's not like you go to a dinner party. You're like, hey, what do you do? I'm a blogger. Oh, I'm a blogger too. And you're like, oh,
And now actually they do, but people are like,
but back then they didn't. Right. Back then they didn't. And so I sent you an email. I could probably dig it up, which is really funny too. And I'm like, I really think I love these conferences, but I really don't have a lot in common with these other women at the conference. They're like political bloggers or mommy bloggers or
crafting bloggers. There's no overlap at that point either.
Yes,
now it seems like there's a little overlap.
There was just like, hey, we're women and we blog, which is cool. And that environment's cool. But I thought, wow, how much more powerful would it be, not only for us, but for even the brands to sponsor, to say, hey, here's a blogging conference that's all people interested in health and wellness and fitness.
Yes.
And my idea really came from, because I remember I sat through an affiliate marketing. For those who don't blog, one of the revenue streams you have on a blog is affiliate marketing. So like you could recommend a product, someone buys that product, you make like 5 cents, right? So, but I remember sitting through a session and it was on affiliate marketing and it was from a guy who blogged about digital cameras. And I thought, well, yeah, this is great for you because you're going to make $80 a camera on a $1,000 camera. I'm like, I'm recommending like a $2 granola bar.
Yes.
I make no money. And I thought, gosh, it would be so much more powerful if we had a conference kind of for us, by us. These are what's working for people.
Yes.
So that's really what gave me the idea. And honestly, I looked no further than 2010. I thought, I'm going to make this happen. We're going to all get together. And I think I sold out like 150 tickets. And people were leaving going, can we pre-register for next year? And I went, we're doing this next year? Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, okay. I'm like, So then it turned into 2000, Fit Blogging 11, 12, 13, which I got the courage to move it out of Baltimore into Portland. And then last year we were in Savannah. And now this year we are in fabulous Denver.
But I know that people get excited. It's weird. It's surprising to me because I was really nervous going to, I will never forget when I was invited to Blistum by a brand I adored, but I was terrified because truly it was conceivable I had nothing in common with this core group of women that this brand brought. Right. And I really didn't. And I went to blog her. It was fine. But it surprises me people get nervous to go to Fit Blogging because it feels like, if nothing else, we all have the same passions. You have something in common with all these people, but people do get nervous.
They do. It's funny. The first year I felt this vibe at the conference where it was like, you had to be fit to go to Fit Blogging.
Yes.
And I have been working really hard to kind of fight that. I was like, maybe I picked the wrong name.
I know. Quick blogging.
Yes. And so we had a handful of bloggers that came from, because to me, anyone at the conference is welcome who wants to basically use social media or blogging to spread, and this is the phrase I always use, to spread a culture of health and wellness. That might be mental health. That might be, we had a lot of people who had, what's it called? Like when they get their stomach stapled. What is that called? Bariatric surgery. There's another group of people. There were people who are really into, even kind of crossing into health and beauty, but some people are more into just healthy foods, or they're vegans. Or
I remember Karen Anderson with the tapping.
Yes, we did
much more mind body
stuff. So in my mind, it's like we all kind of have this interest in health and wellness, but we all are coming from completely different spaces. And so I kind of stepped back after Fit Blogging 10 and I thought, okay, we really have to combat this mentality that it's like only for super fit trainers who have been running ultra marathons, because that is the furthest thing that I wanted to be from. Yeah, because I was a blogger who used blogging to help myself get healthier. And that's really the people I wanted to touch. So I had a lot of conversations with people, and for the second year, I wrote this really long blog post on the Fit Blogging blog. And I was like, look, everyone is welcome, right? And what you project is what you will get. So a lot of people said, because they felt like they weren't included, or they felt like there was cliques, or they felt like, that they didn't belong. And I was like, well, if you're coming with all those fears and you register and you're timid and you're giving off those vibes, like, I don't really belong here, I still have 50 pounds to lose, or I don't belong here because I'm not a runner. Well, then you don't realize that you're unconsciously giving out those vibes. And so I was like, no, you come and you do belong, and you will find your tribe kind of within Fit Blogging. So it's something that we've been working on really hard.
And I think about, and this is probably my own perspective, not as a defense mechanism, I actually just think it's true that I've heard a lot from people over the years with using the phrase clicks. And I've said to them, and I so believe it, oh, I never viewed these people as cliques. I just thought they are friends online and off, and I don't know them that well yet. And if they're people I look at and think, oh, I actually would really like to get to know you better, then I go over and I try to get to know them better.
Right. Which sounds easier. It sounds easy, yes. But it's sometimes not for some of us. I know for me.
But the vibe at the conference is so welcoming. I think I could never have done that. No disrespect to Blistum, but I didn't feel that sense of we're all friends that just haven't met yet that I do at Fit Blogging.
Well, it's one of those things I think it's because I feel that way in my everyday life that I wanted to create an environment where people really did feel. And I feel like that even when I'm now a gym fitness minded person now for almost 10 years. And I still walk into a gym and feel like I don't belong. I think because it's my own baggage I'm bringing into the gym. I'm bringing that into the gym. I think other people look at me and they think she's just another gym goer. But in my mind, I'm like, I don't fit in here. Look how fit they are. Look, she could do pull-ups. She could do this, and I can't do that yet. Yes. And then you kind of you just assume you don't belong. And you
even going back to this weekend in the party, some of the moms came over and hung out for a while because they didn't know me. And so they wanted to make sure their kids were safe. And I really had thought they had all been best friends forever, and come to find out, no, a big group of them all moved here in August before we did. But I just looked at them and thought, I'm not going over. They've all been friends since kindergarten. I just know it. And they're not welcoming, but they were all still feeling awkward.
I always use my example of school and that because when Ryan started kindergarten, I thought, oh my gosh, I totally don't fit in with any of the other moms, and they all seem to know what's happening and what's going on, and they're all members of the PTA, and I have no idea what's going on. And then now that he's in 4th grade, I go, oh, that's just because I know these other moms' faces for the last 4 years, and now I look like one of those moms to the kindergarten moms. Yes, and even though I still feel like I don't know what's going on, so. It's
okay,
funny.
that kind of ties in with my first. It was an image that I found and I read it. Actually, it could have been around forever, and I have no idea where it came from. I wonder if anybody else.
Oh,
does.
so we can't even credit, can we?
No, I have no. Oh. No, I stumbled upon it somewhere, and there's no author. Maybe we'll Google, but also put it up in the podcast post.
Yeah, we'll use the image.
And I read this and thought, oh my gosh, this is so true. So it was an image. It was not from Instagram. I said this a while ago. But it's an image that actually could be Instagram sized. And it says on the image, there is a story they tell of 2 dogs. Both at separate times walk into the same room. One comes out wagging his tail while the other comes out growling. A woman watching this goes into the room to see what could possibly make one dog so happy and the other so mad. To her surprise, she finds a room filled with mirrors. The happy dog found 1,000 happy dogs looking back at him, while the angry dog saw only angry dogs growling back at him. What you see in the world around you, excuse me, chills, is a reflection of who you are. And it's so true in the positive way. I mean, I see on Facebook someone sharing, there's someone in our tribe who shared the other day, I am struggling with this health issue, and people could not rush to help her fast enough. It was a reflection of who she is.
Right, because she's so true. Right.
Everything is colored by how we see the world and what we do.
It's true. And I feel like when you're, it's when you're in a bad mood, because you're going to have bad moods. Like it's just the way it is. Like yesterday, I could tell this story. I was such a bee. Can we not be explicit on our own podcast? But I was in that rush day, like again, just like every moment accounted for, go. And I was trying to accomplish a million things, and I had to go to the bank. And I went, so I snuck out for lunch. I was like, I'll go to the bank, we'll grab some food. I had a call at 1. It was like, I have to be back. And I'm looking at my clock constantly. So I was in that, like, what we talked about last week, right? That East Coast, go, kind of like mentality. And so I'm going to go to the bank. So I go to the bank. There's one teller. Okay. It's 12:15. I have to be back at my house by 1. I have to get some food. And it's like a 10-minute drive, 10 to 15, depending on lights and traffic. Right. So I was like looking at my watch. I get in line. I'm not a drive-through mom. I'm not a drive-through person. I just try to not use the drive-through with anything, banks, fast food, whatever. That's kind of a wick thing that I do. I'm like, I could get my butt out of the car and go into the store. So the drive-through had a long line anyway. But anyway, I park the car, I go in, I get in line. There's like 5 people in front of me, and there's one teller. And I'm like,
start pacing. I'm sure
I was giving out like those really annoying, like this is happening to me vibes. Like, no, like it's not like everyone in line is also in a rush. I realized that. So, but I waited and I waited and I waited, and they called the next person, and I'm like, okay, now this will work. If I can get up to her by this time, then I can still grab the food and I can still get back to my call, and I'm like going through it in my mind. And then somebody in front of me just was up there for like 7 minutes, and I'm dying on the inside. So I finally decided I gotta go.
Okay, wait, you gotta pause. While they were doing their 7 minutes, what kind of dog would you have seen in the mirror? Because I tend to become my mother. God bless my mother. I hope she does not listen to the podcast. My mom was notorious for sighing, and then I catch myself.
Yes, I kind of was like definitely sighing, definitely looking at my phone, and kind of just definitely nervous, anxious energy that I was getting out.
Yeah.
So I finally just decided, I can't do that. I'm not going to make it at this point and make my call at 1. I'm not going to do it. So I left the line, and I thought, you know what? I'll just come back on my way to the gym. I knew I was taking the kids to the gym later. They have later hours. I'll just snap by on my way to the gym. So I abandoned the line, and I'm sure everybody in the line was grateful that I was sleeping. Yes. So then I went back, and I didn't realize that they closed at 5. I thought they closed at 6 because most banks are open later nowadays. So I go and it's like 10 after 5 and the woman is closing and locking the door. And I'm like, you guys are closed? She's like, yeah, we close at 5. And I'm like, if you had more than one teller.
No way did you say that?
I did. I was like, oh, I'm like, and this is, I talk about moms. I'm turning into my mom because my mom also has no filter. And I used to like laugh at her when I was a kid because I thought, Mom, you can't just control yourself and what. But as I get older, I have no filter. And I go, you know, if you had more than one teller at lunch, I would have been able to deposit these checks.
And what did she say?
She looked at me like, oh, we were slammed at lunch. And I thought, yeah, but that's why you have more than one teller. I said, yes. But then I thought, here, I'm giving out this energy and I'm giving out this horrible, and I realized I sat in the car and I took a deep breath and I'm like, okay, that was really uncalled for. I did not have to treat that woman that way. I mean, I wasn't like mean and nasty to her, but I also wasn't nice. I couldn't, you know what I mean? I could have been nicer. So I kind of was like, yeah, I need to project. I need to put myself in check sometimes and say, okay, the world's not going to end. I could just go to the, and by the way, I already made it to the bank. I went this morning. It wasn't that big of a deal. So, you know, so I had to like chill out about it, which is funny because that's what I wrote on the WickWick.
Yes, I saw that.
I wrote that on the WickWick Facebook page. Yes. I was like, I need chill out today. I need to just chill out. But like the dogs in the story, like if I'm, just because I'm in a rush doesn't mean I have to project this like nervous, I don't know, prima donna-esque energy. Like I'm the only one that's in a rush in the world, because it's not true. And I kind of think of this story and go, if I'm kinder and nicer, then that's what I'll get back. And that'll make my day better, not the other way around.
It's so hard in the moment. I mean, I've complained to anyone who will listen how I haven't made any friends really up at the elementary school, but then I think I'm better now. But initially at pickup, I didn't want to move. I didn't want to leave Oakland. I was grumpy. I did not want to meet a whole nother set of moms and do a third elementary school. Yeah. So, and I wasn't even the mom that was on her phone because I don't really bring it to pick up. I would just stand there with the closed body language, the arms crossed, and just not looking very friendly. So then I would be baffled. Why is no one coming up and introducing themselves to me? But it is like what happens around you. I used to feel that way in you know what, our bus stop. I used to come back. I think I even put this on my Facebook wall about 2 years ago, because it's just the way our bus stop is. It's not designed. It's just the way the corner is. Ryan and I are the only ones on our side of the street. And then we have to cross the street and go around the corner to the bus stop. And a lot of the other parents, they don't come all the way to the corner. They kind of stop halfway. So for me to kind of interact with them, I have to like pass the bus stop up and then cross. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I always felt like unwanted because they weren't coming to the corner of the bus stop. Now, mind you, they're not thinking that this is my theory. Okay. They're not thinking about this at all. They just decide to stop walking and talk there. Yes. Whereas I'm reading that as a sign of, well, they're not very welcoming. If they were, they would come to the corner. And like, then I start thinking, is it awkward for me to like pass up the bus stop to go talk to them? Like, does that look needy? Am I being And you needy? Are being really vulnerable to do that. Yes.
Yes. And then I'm like, I'm thinking way too much about this. And again, I'm projecting that now, because now I'm like, I'm a little standoffish. I never kind of go all the way. And I would come back and talk to the husband about it. And I was like, I don't think anyone likes me at the bus stop. And I'm like, oh my God, I sound like a 10-year-old.
I would think that same thing. And when I shifted and I was like, I don't think I even struck up conversation with anybody, but it's that growling dog, being surrounded by growling dogs, just changing my body language. It's amazing how you can be super close with the arms crossed, sitting down versus just standing there.
It is. And you know what I have been trying to do more of, and I've been doing this, and this is kind of like a WickWick for, I guess, mental health, or I don't know, friendly disposition almost. So there's been times now, like if I'm on, the last time I could think I did it, I can't remember where I was traveling, but I was going on the shuttle at the airport to get to the terminal. And there was this woman who had the coolest shoes. She was just really cool, like strappy, sandal-y thing, something right up my alley that I would like. And I was sitting next to her, and I'm, you know, of course, everyone's on their phone and whatever. Everyone's in their own, you know, if you ever really looking around airport travel, no one talks to one another when you're traveling. And so I was like, had my phone and I'm looking over at her shoes. And I finally decided to say, no, I really love your shoes. And she's like, oh, thank you. And then we started this conversation. And I thought, I need to do this more just to be complimentary to somebody else, when like almost that thing of where when you notice something like someone's hair or a sweater, that you actually take the effort to say it and verbalize it.
Do that. Only for selfish reasons, because it makes me feel better, because they rarely don't smile. I'm trying to think if it's ever backfired.
There have been.
Yes. Sometimes it can be awkward.
I have the funniest story where the one time I was in like Big Lots. Do you have Big Lots?
No, I think they're Ohio, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so they're kind of like an Odd Lots or Big Lots or an Ollie's. They're called Ollie's here. And I was at this one was a Big Lots, I think. So I'm there, and it's all random stuff. I go up down the aisles, find good deals or whatever. And there was a guy on his phone, and he was in the sheets aisle. They had all the sheets, and pillows and comforters. And he's on the phone, I'm assuming, with his wife. Now, again, I'm reading way too much into the story. But he was like, no, it's more like, it's like a pink, maybe an orange. Like he's trying to describe the color of the sheet. And I happened to be walking by. And I was like, oh, I would describe it as salmon. Like,
oh no, so you say that, and did he react weird?
His reaction was like, I think if I can remember correctly, he didn't even make eye contact with me. He's like, yeah, there's just some rude person in the aisle. And I was like, I was just trying to be friendly.
Oh my gosh. It is funny when it backfires. Yeah. Now Emma, my daughter, and I will turn to each other and just say, awkward.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. I came home and told the story to my husband, and he's like, well, he was kind of a jerk. And I was like, yeah, but on the other sense, I'm like, I kind of was eavesdropping.
Oh, and that goes back to, the dog thing perfectly. And if he's that growling dog and that's how he views the world, that's how he heard you.
It's true. Like, yeah, he kind of saw me as an intrusion, whatever. And here I'm like, and I'm kind of like Miss Happy Sunshine Friendly. And I was like, oh, if I was struggling with a word or a description, I would love it if someone came in and said, oh, you mean salmon. I'd be like,
especially because I'm horrible with color. So I'd be like, oh, thank you. Because I'm totally calling it orange and she's going to imagine the wrong thing.
Plus, I thought it was kind of humorous because, they always say like women have all these names for colors like salmon and mauve and whatever, pineapple, and men are just like, it's yellow, it's orange.
I'm a man. I know, in that sense, I'm a man. I am terrible. But my husband sold men's clothes in New York for a while. So he would be the salmon.
Yes. So, but I've had more, I would have to say, for those people who may be inspired to start to like strike up conversations with strangers, I've had more positive feedback than negative. I mean, that's only one negative story I could think of. Whereas I have countless times where I've like complimented somebody on, their shirt or their bag or something. And then, and then it was just this like really friendly, short exchange in my day.
Yes. And people can sense authenticity for the most part. And it's that we often go through life, like you said, thinking it and not saying it. And that's really when I started doing it when I was with my daughter, to try to teach my daughter that life is too short. If you see someone think, damn, I wish I had her hair, then tell her, oh my gosh, your hair looks beautiful.
It's true. And you know what? Because I have shorter hair, which I'm dying for my haircut this weekend. Wait until next podcast, because I will have zero hair on this head.
See, the world will have to do behind the scenes.
But because I have short hair, people do comment on it a lot. And I get a lot of compliments on my hair, which is funny to me because a lot of times I don't do it. It just is like,
yes.
And so I really appreciate it because I think, well, thank you. And by the way, learning to say thank you is like another little teeny like wick thing. Instead of, there's that Amy Poehler video. Have you ever seen it? No, about the women? We might have to share this on the podcast posting. So,
is it the apologizing? Like if you had seen it yesterday?
No, it's kind of like complimenting. It's about how women take compliments. And so it's like these women who see each other on the streets of New York and they're like, oh, I haven't seen you so long. You lost so much weight. And she's like, me? I look like a whale, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, it goes to like the next person and they're like, it's someone else comes in. They're like, oh, I love your hat. And they're like, this old thing, I bought it at a, and they can't just say, thank you. And it's
funny because my experience is more the reflexive. Oh my gosh, I love your shirt. I like yours too, much more. And maybe they're evolving, so it's less denigrating themselves and this old thing, or I look terrible. But I notice all the time, oh my gosh, your hair is beautiful. So is yours. No, it's not, lady. Pick something else or whatever it is.
I've been getting much better at just saying, I'm like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And then just dropping it. Like, don't say anything else. You don't need to say anything else. You don't have to, I mean, you can, of course, compliment something back. But again, like you said, people can sense authenticity. So if something natural isn't coming to you, then you just say thank you. I really
And it
appreciate it.
almost
That made my
denigrates the
day.
giver. Yes, it makes it so awkward when you brush it off that the other person feels they feel terrible for even giving you the compliment. And that was my first step to being able to just say thank you, is because I thought, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm learning to accept compliments, but I'm only going to make them feel worse if I brush them off.
Wait,
You
you
are
froze a
frozen.
little bit.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
I was just saying that
Yeah.
it was hard at first to say thank you, but the only way I did was by thinking, okay, this stranger says to me, wow, I love your outfit. And I'm going to make her feel bad if I say, no, it doesn't look good, or, oh my gosh, it was on the floor. Like, it just makes her feel badly. So I started off doing it for the other person, the ability to say thank you.
No, that's true. Yes, because you're kind of negating their.
Yes, you're wrong, lady. I do not know.
Right.
Yes. And
Wait,
you,
let's give it a minute because you're freezing. Wait. Okay, go ahead. Talk.
Okay. No. I'm sorry.
I wonder if it is later in the afternoon that we're having problems.
I don't know. It's like 20 minutes later. Now,
Not that much later.
I think,
yeah.
Did you bring an article to share that you're surprising me with?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can figure that out, how we can edit it later, but whatever. Yes. So I did find an article that I wanted to share, which you have not read yet, which
I love the surprise ones.
So again, I was scouring my daily, well, it hasn't been daily lately, but I usually have a daily CNN habit where I try to read CNN, which is like my newspaper.
Okay.
And after I get totally depressed by the front page news, I go to the health page to make myself feel better. Did I freeze?
No.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. So I found this article on the health CNN page, and it's called The Fittest Cities in America and why they are the fittest cities. And I thought, because the fittest cities are the ones who are very WIC friendly, although that's my own term.
Yes. Now I'm curious where we are, because we are
But
horrible with
true.
the walking friendly.
Yeah. So here, for 8 years running, the American Fitness Index report has provided a snapshot of health and fitness across 50 cities. And the nation's capital has yet again topped the list in the second year in a row.
I would have thought it would have been FitBlog in Denver.
I have to see where Denver is on the list. I am sure they're on the list. Here, the American Fitness Index is two things. It measures how healthy a metro area is today and a call to action for urban and suburban leaders to design infrastructures that actually promote active lifestyles that lead to positive health. Yes. So let me see. There's a few points of data that they used. Let's see. They talk about things they made. Access to public parks was a new factor that they actually added to this year's rankings.
That's an interesting one. Yes.
And they compare. So, and it is how walkable your city is. So one of the guys they're interviewing about this says, how walkable is your city? In Washington, D.C., 95% of the population live within a 10-minute walk to a park.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes. Whereas in Indianapolis, which is not on the list, it's only 31%. So clearly there are environmental indicators in DC that would lend themselves more towards supporting people who actually want to be physically active and healthy.
I would be curious if their statistics are just all these people live close to the park, not that they go and utilize the park.
Yeah, I would think it's more that it's the infrastructure that says
interesting.
There's sidewalks that lead to the park, which then would also lead to other things. And so therefore there's more people walking. The article actually ends with, and this is totally WIC and probably the quote we would use when we shared it on Facebook. Experts say this study is a step towards improving the health of the United States. It's the choices and little changes, quote, little changes we can make in our lives each and every day that can have the biggest impact.
It's amazing how you and I have not yet been on the Today Show, but every single article, as much as we didn't yet strike Katie, Matt, whoever, Al, oh, I guess Katie's gone, Kathy Lee, their consciousness, because we're not like 5 minutes to a 50-pound weight loss. All of the true news sources have said so much, even more recently, small steps, big change. This is what we need to do.
You know why? My opinion on this, it's because it's not sexy. So it's not sexy to say to someone, yes, make small changes in every day. Walk when you can. Add more vegetables. Instead of going, you can lose 40 pounds in 4 days just by drinking this cleanse. Like, that's really sexy. And people still, I feel like, though, the tide is turning. And unfortunately, we're probably slightly ahead of the curve. So like by the time all the traditional media catch up to us, there'll be some other book out there that says small changes.
Hey, look, this is the first book about this.
Yes, and we'll be like waving the quarter going, we've been saying this for years.
It's so true. And I'm surprised the tide hasn't changed yet, just in anger. Like all the people who've been doing these juice cleanses, like you promised.
It's not working.
But
It's not working. Yes, there is. I probably shouldn't bring this up because I probably won't show it on a Facebook or on the WickWick blog, but there is what is his name? Who's the actor? Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah, I think
Have
he was
you?
from Boston back in the day.
He is hysterically funny to me. He has this motivational clip on YouTube now.
People keep talking about that. I haven't seen it.
I will share it because it
Okay.
is hysterical. Because he's
Is it
like,
serious?
it's serious. It's only like a minute long, and he's just like screaming at the camera, and he's like, "You have all these dreams, then just do them. Yesterday, you said today. Like he's like
No way, because I've seen people
Yes.
sharing it, and I'm like, oh, he's kind of a whack job. I haven't.
No,
watched
he's
it,
total
but-
whack
oh,
job.
interesting.
But I have to say, I was motivated. I was like, yeah. Like you
Oh my
tell
gosh,
them.
that's it. I laughed at yesterday at school pickup. There's the empty stage, and my daughter turned to me and said, "Ugh, when are we doing another spoof?" So there you go. We'll spoof Shia.
We can actually, yes, we can totally spoof it. It would be awesome. I think at one point he even spits and he has to like wipe spit off because he's like he's like so intense because he's really good at getting intense. And God knows if he's like acting or if this is like him. Who knows? Because he does all that. Like he does a lot of theater-esque things all the time. Yeah,
Yes.
like weird things. But so just to get back to the article, just so people are curious, the top 10 fittest cities
Oh, what are they?
in the United States. So it's Washington, Arlington, Alexandria. You know, they're listing that as one metro area. Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Bloomington.
I'm so surprised because Minneapolis is so cold in the
Yes.
winter.
Minneapolis was on my list as potential fit blogging for years, and I just never made it there. So that was one of the ones I was scoping out for next year,
Same.
actually. San Diego, of course.
Not surprising.
San Francisco, Oakland.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Sacramento, Roseville, Arden, Arcade. Denver is 6. So there you go. Denver, Aurora, Lakewood. Portland, which we had fit blogging in Portland, so I came to visit, and it is a fabulous city. They have all those
It
bridges. I just everyone was running and riding their bikes. It was great. Seattle, Boston, and San Jose are your top 10.
That's so surprising to me, Boston and Minneapolis. Like all my family is from Minneapolis and we would never go in the winter. It's like, it's just super interesting to me. I would
I
imagine
think
it would have
they
been
just-
all warmer
well,
climes.
They have thicker skin, so they're out there in the winter. Because I know I went to Boston for a conference in like February. I think it
people
was.
outside.
It was freezing. It was freezing.
I'm so
But
wimpy
even
now.
while I was there, I still I just bundled up and we walked to the bars and we walked to the restaurant. We walked everywhere. I mean, I think just the nature of a city. I'm surprised New York City's not on there.
Me too, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder where they are on the list. I'm sure they have to be in top 50 because just by the nature of a city, it's so accessible that, I mean, I guess there's cabs and there's buses, but for me, I'm all
Yeah.
about the walk. It's what I love to do.
I know. I shared a picture on Instagram yesterday and tagged it WickWick about, I can't remember the exact quote, but basically, are you in a bad mood? Take a walk. Studies show it takes, I think it was 10 minutes to get over it. And I just share these things because I find them interesting, but I got so many private messages. And what does it say? Walk yourself out of your bad mood. Studies show that even a 10-minute walk immediately boosts brain chemistry to increase happiness. And it's like, that would be my motivation. Forget the skinny jeans, the bikini, living anywhere accessible. It's that everywhere is 10 minutes. I can do it for my mental health.
No, it's true. I find like walking, and now ever since we did the very special walking episode, I find myself thinking about what's happening in my body when I'm walking all the time. Like I do, like, because I think I can't remember now the specifics, but I think it was like even just within 10 minutes, I think your joints are already becoming more lubricated, which would help so many people that feel stiff. I think the I don't know, the conventional wisdom, is that how you would say it? Like traditionally, people would be like, oh, you've hurt yourself or you have a bad back.
move.
Rest, go to bed, rest,
Yeah.
rest. When really, I think it's better to do light walking, just strolling, keeping active. You know, your blood's pumping around your body, your joints are staying loose, your muscles are staying warm. And that's actually a better environment for your body to heal itself than it is like laying in bed with the covers over your face. It's just,
Covers over your face.
that's my mental image of someone who is
No, but you're right. Like I find sometimes when we have sedentary weekends, we're super go, go, go when it's just me and the child. And sometimes when the husband's home, it screeches to a halt. It's that next morning. That's when I wake up feeling like, oh, my piriformis is super tight and my back is killing me because I did less.
Yes, I think doing more. And I think it's a shock to some people. I know for me, because I struggle with a lot of neck problems. I inherited it from my mom, who also has a lot of neck problems. And I think when I first started having symptoms of like my kind of upper thoracic issues and spine stuff, my instinct was to lay in bed and to stop doing things.
Yes, that was the prevailing wisdom for so long.
And then I've learned from myself, I was like, wait, I have less instances of my neck going out when I'm staying more active. And so I know the one time the husband thought I was crazy because I think we only had one car for some reason. And my neck was really, I was in one of those states where like I couldn't move my head in any direction. And it was just painful. Like I couldn't get dressed. It was just really painful. And I had to go to the doctors, but we had to get one of the kids someplace or whatever. So I said, just drop me off. Just drop me off a patient first. I need to talk to him. I need to have him take an x-ray. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't move. So I went and it was 3 miles. It's 3 miles from the house. And the husband's like, just call me and I'll come pick you up. And I called him on my walk. I was like, I'm just going to walk. He's like, no, you're crazy. I'm like, no, I feel better when
When was this? Was this after you had totally shifted your mindset?
Yeah, this was like 2 or 3 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. It's just like sometimes it goes out. I just had a vertebrae out of whack or whatever. And I needed to work on it. But I walked the entire way, 3 miles I walked. Because no other position was comfortable. Like sitting wasn't comfortable, laying wasn't comfortable. But walking, there was something about walking and just kind of lightly swinging my arms that have a sense of relief in a weird way. And he was like, no, I'll pick you up. I'm like, no, please, just let me walk home. Just let me walk home.
Now in my mind, I'm imagining him like a movie. You're walking and he's driving like a half a mile an hour next to you.
No,
he's so good.
He's not that guy. Unfortunately, he was like, I didn't call him purposely until I was like halfway home because I didn't want it to be an argument. I'm like, no, I'm already there. I only have like a mile left. I'll be there in like 20 minutes. Don't worry about it.
I should have made him my Wick-Wicker of the week. I love that picture you shared. And now I'm thinking it's walking a mile. Was it walking a mile? That face. Oh my gosh. I should have made him my person of the week.
So yeah, Monday, I was like, we're not eating out lunch, so we ate lunch at home. And then I'm like, well, why don't we take a walk? And he's like, okay. And I'm like, well, I'm doing a mile streak. Cause right now on my blog, I kind of challenge people to do a mile streak. So basically I didn't want to call it a running streak because I know not everyone's a runner, but just to consciously carve out, 20 minutes or 10 if you're running, to do a mile a day, just to kind of keep, I like sometimes having, I don't know, a little bit of fire under me and some kind of like inspiration. So I like having the challenge of trying to do it daily. And so I said, hey, I have to walk a mile anyway. Why don't we walk at lunch? And he hesitantly, please say that word for me.
Hesitantly.
He hesitantly agreed.
Paused.
Yes, he hesitantly agreed. And then when lunch came, he's like, oh, I only have 10 minutes. And I go, well, unless you're going to run with me, we cannot cover a mile in 10 minutes. And we're covering a mile. And he kind of was like, oh, all right, we'll see how far we go. And I'm like, okay. And I thought, I know exactly the mile loop that we can take. So we're walking. And then at one point, there's like probably about 3/4 of the mile in. We could turn to go home or turn to do the last quarter mile. And he was trying to turn to go home. And I'm like, no, look, we have 5 more minutes. 1/4 mile, we're finishing this mile. And he was kind of like, oh, it was hysterical.
That was the best face ever. And yes, it was a combination of my daughter's face and my husband's face. I laughed so hard, but he's not my Wick-Wicker of the week, but he should have been. And I saw that. I thought,
actually, I've already used up my husband Wick-Wicker of the week once in the past. So I don't think I can make him Wick-Wicker of the week again for at least 10 more episodes.
Well, I laughed at my Wick-Wicker of the week. Last week, it was the woman from Kansas. I think she was still my Wick-Wicker of the week and she didn't know it. And this week, again, I picked someone who did they use the hashtag? They did use the hashtag. I take that back.
Okay.
So yeah, this was actually, I have it up now.
Okay.
It made me laugh so hard. I swear, for me, it wasn't just a Wick Wicker of the week. It was like he took the internet with this tweet. It made me laugh so hard. And it's someone that you and I both love. I don't know if you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think I know who you're talking about. Go ahead.
It made me laugh so hard. And I admire people who do the comedy tweets. Super ballsy. I have a friend here in Austin who does it because sometimes they fall flat.
Right.
And other times they're hilarious. And it's so like making yourself vulnerable all the time. This one, hilarious. So it's Jack Shit on Twitter, JACKSHT. Hilarious. Instead of taking the elevator at work, I called in sick and went to the gym. Wick, wick. It's not as funny with my preamble. Cracked me up when I saw that. I thought that was like the funniest thing ever.
It is pretty funny. He is fun. Anytime I tweet,
really funny.
matches it, he always comes back with some sarcastic retweet, and then I always try to keep my.
Oh, me too. I needed to stop.
Yeah, I try to keep my wit with him, and then I realized there's no winning with Jack. There's no winning with Jack.
Funniest thing ever. I thought
Yeah.
that would be like the Joel McHale on the soup. So I thought that was hilarious. He's my Wick Wicker of the week.
That is a great Wick Wicker. Okay, I have a Wick Wicker of the week that involves you, so you will have to explain. So my Wick Wicker of the week is Ashley, who a mere 6 hours ago tweeted, "Hey Carla, here's your reminder to go pencil in 5 minutes of yoga today. There are great free videos. Wick wick." So what is that all about?
Yes, she had a blog post where she was talking about all of her. I love her because she uses the Wick Wick hashtag a lot. Goals for June. And I was like, I don't really do goals, but I got to fit in the yoga because my back is killing me. And I need to just fit it in, do what I can when I can. And I said, I need accountability partners. And I say that a lot to people, but it's like it's that language of encouragement to say, no, I'm serious. You are my accountability partner. Please nag me. Because I think people never know. I love that she did that. She nagged. I did the pigeon pose.
Nice. See, and that's why I picked her for Wick Wick because I think a lot of times we're kind of highlighting people who are using the hashtag as a way to, a way to like cheer themselves on or to brag in a good way about what they've accomplished or to share a struggle. But this was one of the first times I kind of actively saw someone using the hashtag for the sole purpose of encouraging someone else. So it wasn't like,
grateful. It really made me feel great.
I thought that was really cool. And again, it was something that I always had in mind in the sense that the hashtag can be used for all these things. And it's a really easy way for us to kind of keep tabs on one another and to have those accountability partners, because you can see anyone who's, tagging it Wick Wick. And I don't know about other people, but for me, I find motivation in motivating. So I can go through the tag and I love to inspire other people by telling them great job today. Oh, that was awesome. That helps me kind of get in that mindset. So that's one of those things that we should probably do more of.
I know. I loved it. It really made me feel great. And I did go do yoga.
That is awesome. I'm doing yoga this afternoon. So there's that. I have a plan. I have a date with a neighbor to do yoga at her house.
Look at you. Oh, I have friends. My plan is to go to school pickup with my arms wide open.
I say that, but it's all thanks to her because I'm the most horrible friend because I haven't emailed and I've been so busy or whatever. And then out of the blue, she's like, "Do you want to do yoga?" And I'm like, "Yes, I so appreciate the invitation because I'm a horrible friend that never emails you ever."
Oh, maybe that's our next challenge. Let's ponder this for the next episode because I have an idea that maybe we encourage people to reach out to others. Make yourself vulnerable. I would wonder if she felt awkward encouraging me publicly. But I love that your friend did that. Reach out to somebody else. Let's ponder for episode 21.
Yes, I like that. Okay. On that note, I think we're signing off.
Wick, wick.
Wick, wick. We did it. We're done. Okay.
We did. Yes. Oh, you know what I was thinking? Let me put this in your head because I know you were so unbelievably busy.
Do you want me to stop broadcast or keep broadcast going?
Stop. Sorry.